the existing facilities have a lot of bottlenecks to be retrofitted, as we call it in fancy terms, in terms of energy efficiency. So we devised a methodology which is Audit-Simulation and Living Lab integration. There are methods, and these methods are calculation-based, normally known as analytical method, measurement-based, audit-based method, and then there are hybrid methods. The methodology that we have adopted is the hybrid method, because we rely on analytical models as well, because we are doing simulation, but we do rely on those analytics based on some audited data. That gives us a realistic number that what is going on in that particular building. So we perform energy simulations assisted through energy audit results. We perform audit of the building envelope, the skin, and other than that, of course, there are certain appliance related issues as well. So we do get, and then we basically use these to determine, okay, what could be the improvement guidelines for a particular house, particular building. And then we, if you want, we can confirm it through what we call as living lab setup. This is the living lab setup that we designed through different learning from different literature and design guidelines. The focus was to monitor everything live. So one way of doing it is to collect the data and analyze, but in this the focus was to analyze the trends, because some of the things can only be analyzed with the live trends. What it does is that it gives us, there are two parts to this living lab setup. One is the indoor side and one is the outdoor side. The indoor side gives us the temperature, humidity, directional light intensity, which is a very interesting thing, that how much are, as an occupant, you using the windows and the openings of the building to get the light, because then you would not use the artificial lights. And then externally, we install weather station that can provide us all these values. Specifically in this, what we were interested in, of course, were the external humidity, temperature, wind speed, gust, but the solar and wind potential that it can give us on over a square meter area. And then we can analytically convert it to how much that building does have a potential in terms of its rooftop area to generate alternate energy. We validated the results analytically by redoing the simulation. In redoing the simulation, we applied the identified improvement measures, and those improvement measures were validated. These are the ones, there were 9 or 10 improvement measures, 5 or 6 of them were related to envelope, the others were related to appliances, were validated through the simulation results. So now these interventions are going to be applied. The three main ones are the doors, windows, external walls, and rooftop. Now these interventions are related to building envelope. So what we are going to do is, for example, with all these, the red walls that you see, the red lines, these are the walls which are exposed walls, which were found to have more conductivity. So they would be insulated with certain measure, जो कि हमारे पास measure आया है. And other than that, all these doors and windows would be blocked for infiltration within that apartment. And then if you look at this green, these windows had to be changed, because single ग्लास विंडोज इसमें लेके इसमें डबल पेन जिसके अंदर हीट ट्रैपिंग हो सके, तो एक हीट ट्रैपिंग का ग्लास डिजाइन किया, वो हीट ट्रैपिंग विंडोज लगनी है. With regards to the rooftop, the ideal way of doing it was using the EPS. Dr. Barakhtar talked about that EPS, extended polystyrene, but the idea with the problem with the EPS is that it costs you a lot sometimes, and it depends upon different communities कि वो क्या afford कर सकते हैं. तो EPS का extended size उसमें है recommended that you do, but EPS based roof topping or roof insulation would require not only EPS but a lot of other things as well. So roof पे अच्छा खासा खर्चा हो जाता है, जो करेगा वो ज़्यादा अच्छा, उसकी lifetime durability of that is more than what I'm proposing. We are proposing to have a special kind of paint. Normally वो जैसे उसने कहा था white paint नहीं, there are reflective paints available as well that can reflect light. Depends upon the maintenance of the rooftop as well, but typical their life cycle is like 3, 4 or 5 years. Recently we were engaged with European Union and GIZ to develop codes for Ministry of Climate Change with regards to the housing scheme. 5 million housing scheme, family known as. And what we did was we basically went through this code development process. Now this code is under the ownership of Ministry of Climate Change now. It's available on website, free of cost. You can go and download it. There are 3 documents associated. These are for low-rise, these are for housings, not even low-rise, but you can say that some of the interventions can be used for low-rise. And basically we went through a whole exercise. After drafting, there was a big team and we did consultative workshops. We went through the whole document, vetted it, and this document is now available. And many of the interventions that we have researched over the period of time, other than some standard codes, IGC to be specific, IGCC, International Green Construction Code, were incorporated. The scope of this document involves energy efficiency, water efficiency, materials, waste reduction. So of course, the one that I'm talking about were more incorporated into energy efficiency chapter of the code, as well as some of them was included in the indoor environment quality.